Hello, 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 everybody. How you doing on this lovely day? It's the first week of June. I mean, we ain't getting married, but we about to jump this broom and step right with the union that we have in our higher God, the one that we give our time to, devotion to, love to, and get all of our substance from. For those that believe and don't believe, wherever you get it from, just know that. Do you care about yourself, kid? All right. So to my left, we have a lovely guest, Andrea, and we are talking about the topic of surviving street violence and finding purpose. Finding purpose out of street violence. Give her a hand of applause for coming up here, because what she's about to talk about and lay on the grounds for you guys is nobody in their life is ready for it, but I'm gonna let her tell it herself. How you doing, my sister?
I'm fine. How are you?
All right. Go ahead. Tell us a little about yourself.
My name is Adrian, and my son was murdered June 18th of 2022.
Yes.
He was 34 years old, father of two boys with another son on the way that was due on my son's birthday, July 28th of 2022. And he was murdered at a Father's Day celebration. It's been hard dealing with that. I still struggle with a lot of grief, mainly a lot of anger because of the fact that I'm still waiting for justice. Although they both have been apprehended, the court process is stagnated. It's just dragging, and I'm ready for all of that to be over so I can actually start with my healing process. I can't get too far in my healing because I have to still sit in court and look at them face to face. So that's a backslide every time because it doesn't matter how far you get. When I walk in court and I'm sitting across from them and I'm face to face with them, it brings me back to the same day. So it's not really too much healing and moving forward. It's just
The patience.
a stability. I'm stable in my grief right now, where I'm at.
I just run. I'm not clapping because of. I'm clapping because of the strength that you're speaking on, and the fact that like I spoke to you on the phone and I told you before. I can hear where you're at, and it's like you want to move. Like you just said, you want to move forward, but the healing won't happen until you know that you know, and that's very powerful, and that we even have words of inspiring words on that you can speak on. Out of the unspeakable laws, you rise with purpose. Your heart is still full, not because you've moved on, but because you carry your son forward with every step. When I sent that to you just to go over, like, what was your thoughts on that when you saw it originally, or even now?
It's I move forward with a purpose. I have to take care of my son's three sons that he left behind. So I don't really have the time to not be present emotionally, mentally, and physically for them because I am now stepped up into that prominent parent position. So I'm their dad's standing. So therefore, I have to make sure that I can keep going forward. They give me a purpose. I have a daughter. So my daughter is 18. She's about to graduate high school.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And
Actually, yes.
I have to be present for her as well. Like I had to. That was a tough time for her because I feel like the kids and the siblings are
Very
considered
close.
like the lost ones.
Yes.
Because a lot of times when you deal with grief and you deal with loss, a lot of people only want to hear from the adult.
And not the child.
When there's a child, there's a sibling that's left behind as well that's dealing with grief too. So a lot of times I have to table my emotions and my grief and what I'm feeling at that moment to be present for them. So we don't cross contaminate our grief.
Do you feel that it's a little difficult at times?
Um, I'm a mental health profession.
Okay.
So I've studied psychology since I was like 17. And it doesn't, I'm going to say it doesn't really affect me as damaging as it would a person that didn't have the experience
Yes.
and the introduction to things that I have the introduction to that I have knowledge of. So I think that I would be broken if I wasn't schooled in the things that I know and I didn't work in the field that I worked in and I wasn't prepared for certain things. Not to say that I would ever be prepared for the loss of my son or any child or any relative. It's just that there's a mode that I go into once something happens like that, something drastic happens. Like it's like your education and your training and your knowledge kicks in automatic, and you just go into that mode and where it's either you're nurturing, or you're handling something, or you got to do the services. You got to like I had to step in and do everything.
You know, because like what you're saying is basically the reference of you really don't know yourself or you don't really know a person until they're in the midst of a serious situation. That really shows their true character. And you was able to still keep your continence through other experiences, even though they weren't just like that, but you was already emotionally prepared. Maybe not psychologically prepared for the situation, but you were emotionally prepared. You was governed in the direction of you said. But this was I wouldn't say that this was the pinnacle of that. There's more for you to come for possibly even others to find that strength. Because I said that to you before, like that strength that Michelle is showing you from the association that you're under. It's my sisters, right?
Yes.
Like you being in that circumference of other women, not just because they went through it together, but that strength, that reassurance, that reconstruction that you need for your mind, and then it shows out in how you move and speak. And that's why I was saying to you before, I hear a resolve in you, but like you said, you're taking your time with it, and I respect that.
Thank you.
So we're gonna jump to the first questions and really get down to the whole of this topic: surviving the streets, surviving street violence, and finding purpose. So our first question: in the years since your son passing, what has surprised you most about grief and how it lingers or shifts over time?
My anger. I'm amazed that there used to be a part of me that showed up for the streets heavy. And through me growing up and maturing, I still say they call it Big A. And like you never want to see Big A coming. Never. But now I found out that like with my anger, the anger that I have through my grief, sometimes I feel like I want to let Big A show up sometimes. Like especially when I'm in court and they're smirking, they come into court and they got the smirk on their face and like it's not a game. Like this is my son's life and I'm like desperately seeking justice and I'm consciously holding on to my sanity through my anger. Because if I don't have that anger, I'm going to let myself go. So as long as I know I gotta channel my anger and not let myself loose, then I know I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna get through it. I'm definitely gonna get through it.
We're gonna jump into the audience. For the audience, it's changing around. In the years since, excuse me, in your sense, since the passing of any of the loved ones that you know, what surprised you within your grief since their passed?
Passed away. I was a youngster at the time. I got rebellious, and I thought the world owed me something at that point. I was like a young, incorrigible adolescent, and it transferred me into a world of crime and a dysfunctional being. I ended up going to jail for a stint of 10 years, being very angry that my mother had left me. And during that time, it made a man of me, the jail part. So from that stance on, I hadn't really had to get my anger challenged.
And I would like to respond. I just want to thank you for sharing, Adrian.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and I applaud this podcast and just bringing awareness to surviving street violence and finding purpose. You talked about your anger and as a way of channeling it, and I also understand that because that anger is also part of our passion that drives us. And as I was sitting here, this is the first time that I think awareness came to me that my brother got killed in front of our house in Newark. And I don't think I ever talked about it. I don't even think I ever went there. This is just amazing for me. This is the second time in a couple of weeks where I experienced, we was at the drug check-in.
Yes.
And my sister that was a drug addict, I was able to reflect that we weren't doing harm reduction at the time, so we had no way of helping her. And all those years, I had those feelings here. So now these feelings are coming out, Adrian, about my brother that got killed in front of the house. And the thing that surprised us, for me, is all these years that I've suppressed it. And probably I don't even know if I grieved. I think I just suppressed it. So I'm right there. I'm just stuck right there. So I just got to thank you, Easy and Adrian, for putting this podcast together, because there are probably so many of us that
Haven't letting go or find some resolve.
that had surviving street violence, and we've just suppressed it or normalized it.
Yes.
And so thank God for this kind of awareness.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone else? Let's take one more person.
I would say I had a lot of anger, and we spoke about it yesterday. I blame myself for asking my son to go somewhere May 4th, and I didn't see him no more. After May 4th, I carried that with me for a while, but then something came over me, and I had to realize he wouldn't want this. Mommy, stop blaming yourself. Stop. Continue on with your life and dealing with the family, keeping everybody else stronger. And losing him May 6th, and then losing my mother 5 years later, 6 days after his death. My kids hate May.
They what?
They don't like May.
Okay.
May 6th, my son. May 12th, my mother. May 21st, my mother-in-law. All of them were in May. But we hanging in there though. And I just got to keep my head up and be strong, for my loved ones.
I love you, Mickey, and there's nothing you could do about it.
Big A.
So can I ask Adrian a
Yes.
Surviving street violence and like with death situations, um, is that grieving different than the death of somebody that just died? And you might have the answer, you might not, but I just want to throw that out there because in my mind, it's different. Like my mother died. Um, I grieve differently because I spent time with her and she just really died of natural causes. Versus now I'm realizing that my brother died from street violence. And that grief was totally different. As I already said, that I suppressed it. So what do you think?
Absolutely, it's a difference. My I cremated my dad, and 3 years later, the same month, 6 days apart, I buried my mother. Then 6 years after that, my son was murdered, and I buried him with my mom. So the difference is my son was violently taken away from me. And that's the anger that I hold on to. That's what drives me is because he was taken. Whereas my mom had a stroke. My dad, neither death with my parents was expected. It was freak accidents, but it was acceptable. And this I can't accept. That my son was shot and killed out celebrating about to be a new dad. So for the third time. So that is where there is a difference. It's a major difference. It's a major difference. And whereas too, I've never grieved for my dad. I've never grieved for my mom because I was responsible for everything. Once they passed, I was responsible to take care and handle everything. As in with my son, because his dad was murdered at the same age, right up the street on the same block where my son was murdered. And his dad's best friend can attest to that, Jasper. And yeah, it's a major difference.
Thank you for that, Doc. Because now I got me wanting to open up about the sharing of experiences of grief. Just yesterday, I was talking to my sister. She just moved to North Carolina, and she just made a new friend through a friend of ours. And the friend of our friend of the friend, I just found out that this man daughter, she's been gone since she was 17, been a year, and the person who killed her is not locked up. The man, from what she told me that he told her, the man knows he hit this man's daughter. Was not drunk. Was not intoxicated, under the influence, nothing. Just hit this man's daughter and kept driving and went home. And is not in prison right now, even now. It's not. Wow. And she would have graduated. She was walking home from practice. And when she told me that I have nieces and nephews, and my nieces and nephews are down there. So, and even knowing that there's children getting picked up left and right, getting thrown in prison, 12 years old, you watch your brother get shot by a man, shoot him dead in the chest, and the police don't arrest that man, but they arresting you a 12-year-old. Wow. You're being arrested, but the man that shot your brother that you're holding and crying over and ready to fight for, you're being arrested. I don't really care too much about the age of the individual, but if the wrong is not the one that's being wronged, why are they still able to walk free? Is it because they don't look like me? Is it because when it's us hurting us, it's okay? Publicize it. When it's someone that don't look like me, but into me, but make it look like I was the one that was wrong and did something wrong. Any way to scrutinize it, it bothers me. It fills me with so much that sometimes, and I'm going to share something, 28 years ago, I wouldn't be sitting here. I got swept in the undertow. And God saw for me to survive and come back. So I know what it's like to not be alive for 2 minutes. That's 5 turning 6 years. Oh. So I don't wish death on nobody. I don't wish nobody younger than me to die. They don't deserve that. They deserve every chance that I know I was given. Every chance. Your son, her son, his daughter. You all deserve justice. Nobody deserves to go to this nation. Don't even deserve to go through it. Nobody. And anyone that sees and feels in their heart that you deserve it, no. You.
So let's thank Easy for sharing. And let's allow Adrian to talk about that, because I think she was starting to say that when she goes into the courtroom and she sees the smirks and hears comments and sees injustice. So how do you respond to that, Adrian?
It's like, you know, I thank you for sharing that, and I'm glad too that God saw fit to pull you back out the undertow so you could be here to do what you do. So that shows that God's kept His hands on you.
Thank you.
And you know, like I got angry at one of my court appearances, and I actively chose not to show up for the last one Friday and the one for tomorrow, to not be there physically. I'm gonna watch it on Zoom. I actively chose to do that because I found myself the last time I was there getting very, very angry at the defense attorney and his assistant, because I looked over and saw the defense attorney assistant rubbing the guy that killed my son's arm like he was a victim.
Wow.
And it pissed me off. Yeah. And I had to get up and walk out the courtroom. Because although I know that's your job, that's what you get paid for, to defend people that possibly sometimes are guilty. But in a situation like that, a murder case, and I know they know he's guilty. You know, I know it's guilty until proven innocent, but I know it's your job to make it a fine hairs
Tweak it.
decision for you not to be able to say, for the jury to be able to say, like, definitely, yeah, to cause some type of benefit of doubt. But I felt like they were disrespecting my son's life.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so what? Somebody's dead, but we're gonna say he didn't do it. Like, and don't, I know they're trying to make you feel like you're guilty. Like, that's the way I perceived it, and I didn't really care for that. Like, and it made me real angry. And it's like, how do I contain all of that? Like, that's a struggle for me. Whereas when I was younger, I was just used to letting that fire out. And now, you know, as an adult and as a proactive and a positive person in the community, like, I can't revert back to that. So how do I handle this? So how I handle this, I actively chose to remove myself from the situation and not show up.
Perfect resolution. Always choose the best route for yourself that keeps you at the highest point, never low.
Yeah, for my sanity.
Another question. So, I'm just curious, where do you see God in any of this? Or do you see God in any of this? Is there a way that you can use your spirituality in any of this?
I'm gonna say, I said this in group yesterday. I used to be a very church attending kid and Bible studies and all of that when I was younger, knew all the verses and all of that, all the singing, and when I got into the street life, I went a different way, and I lost that connection like that. Although I am a believer, I never lost my faith. I never lost that my belief. I just don't actively be inside church anymore. Now, I mean, it's a point like I don't even know if I have time. I'm so busy doing everything, and then with the kids and working, and trying to live in this world that everything is prices is just
Going up.
ridiculous. But
Pay wages ain't.
I shared yesterday that although what did we say? We question God, right? But you gotta ask the questions that you want the answers to. We found out in group yesterday. We decided and agreed. But also, God doesn't make mistakes. So God might take the best of what He needs and who He needs, and it might be the best of who we have when He takes them. And you got to trust the process. That I have to accept that my son's life was predestined before I knew and before I was willing to accept. Because I shared in group yesterday, 2 weeks before my son's murder, I dreamed of his murder. In a similar fashion, but not the same fashion. By the same means, but in a different situation, in a different circumstance. And my son always, like we've always felt that when I have those particular type of dreams, because I don't really have those type of dreams, so whenever I do have those, it comes to fruition in some sort of fashion.
So do you feel that maybe that was God's way of just like, so you don't just be totally shocked? I don't know.
I kind of after the fact I felt that because I immediately when I got up that day and it was 2 weeks before and same day, a Saturday. So it was 2 weeks after. It was June 4th. I had the dream, and June 18th, that Saturday, which was 2 Saturdays later, was when he was killed.
Wow.
And
let me also say this, and then you can continue. As I've gotten older, I talk. You don't put the light on. I talk more about spirituality than religion, because spirituality just talks about my relationship with the higher power versus church, which is an organized structure, and it seems that your spirituality is very much intact. Absolutely. And as because I can feel it from here, and I know this agency or this sisterhood or fellowship of like-minded folks that have experienced it also is a spiritual bond that I see between you and Michelle. And to me, it just is so fortifying because it allows folks that have shared experience to sort of support each other. And so what are your thoughts on that?
absolutely. I shared that yesterday. That although me and Mickey has known each other since I was younger, she's was a friend of my older sister, as well as a couple of other people inside our I Am My Sisters, and even our founder. Me and her has been friends since we were younger, in school. And I told her as well that it's given us a different platform to bond on, not only from our familiarity with each other and our knowledge of knowing each other for years and just that basic friendship. Now we have a sisterhood that is more cohesive, more supportive. To whereas if we were just still like friends in passing, that known each other for years, we wouldn't notice like if Michelle seemed sad today when she came into group, or in our group chat if something seemed a little off from one of the other ladies when they normally respond, like it's lacking something, even through text, we can pick up little things like that. Like, so we're more in tune with each other, and it's giving us something to bond over, and it's giving us something to share with each other and to like bounce things off of, or to even question if it's an insecurity that one of us is having. Like, we'll toss it on the table and we'll all talk about it and we'll work it through with each other and help that sister. We can't give her the solution, but we can help her search for it and move towards it in her own way, and she can just collectively take what we share and make it into what she needs.
You articulated that phenomenal.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's self-help, right, Bobby?
Yes, that is.
That's what self-help is all about. I can't give it to you, but we can mobilize. You said that.
All right.
Can I just say one thing? Like how A was saying, right now, today is the birthday of one of
Bobby, get ready to come out here and hit something.
one of the mothers. Her son's birthday is today, and she came yesterday. She came in crying, and it helps us a lot when we have that group. When we're going through something, like when my son, going through that, and I didn't feel like going, but I went. Because I know once I go, I'm going to come out feeling better. And we get that support. Yeah, it's nothing like that support. And it's so much love in the group text, so you got, it's a big group text, sad to say. Because there is a lot of mothers, but there's only, I am my sister.
It's only one of us.
All right.
And there's about 10 of us, and there's multiple of us though, but we are always there, and we always keep that support with each other.
We're gonna bring this down to this last question, because it's a lot of activities as well that we would like to bring you in on, as far as with the after social. And then we have so much information out here that I am not gonna lie, I believe that we can use it into the next part 2 for this, which is gonna be Rebecca from I Am My Sisters. and with the last question, Adrian.
Adrian.
Adrian. I apologize.
I'm sorry, that's a peeve of mine.
Adrian.
So a little anger come out.
Yeah, I think I'm in a hot seat right now. Don't kill me. I don't know how that would look. You kill me and my mama sitting there, I and my sisters looking at you like.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not what it is. I have a coworker at my job that keeps calling me Andrea and Andrea, and I keep correcting it, and it's every time he gets worse with it. And so when you say Andrea, it took me to him. So I was like, Adrian.
No, I don't want to do that. And, yeah. All right. Hey, Jasper. It stopped recording. All right. So for final question, what message would you give to other mothers who are just beginning their journey of loss through street violence?
Good question.
Acknowledge what you feel. Identify what it is you're feeling. Allow yourself to feel it while you're feeling it, and process it. And find us. Find I Am My Sisters. Find us, and we'll help you do the rest.
And do you care about your self-care?
Yeah!